Hey guys, hope you guys are all doing well. I figured I'd share one of my techniques on how to make this acrylic washes. Some of you guys out there probably already know how to do it, but for some of you guys that are curious, here's the tips I got. Now there's plenty of different ways of doing it. You can buy it, you can make it enamel, you can make it acrylic. These are acrylic. I use straight up craft paint. So I figured I'd give you guys a little show on how I do some things. So this is going to be the end result. It adds a lot of detail, or amplifies the detail that the guys who made these kits give us. Even amplifies the words there. So I pretty much don't do a model unless I do a wash on it. I feel it gives it some realism. So that's a black wash on that. That's just a simple one-off wash. And then this is the bottom of one of the cars I'm working on now. And it's a combination of browns and blacks, some tans, and then in this area is just a black, trying to amplify or give it the look of dirt and some rust. So like in this area, some rust. This one is only one coat. I'd probably do 2 coats on this, but the first coat I'm doing everything. The second and third coat is usually just highlighting some areas. So this is how I do my tires. I just do black on that, let it sit and wait, let it dry. That's just a regular chrome. And then I'll come by with my finger after it's dry. And see, I got some of that chrome back. So that way it's only black in the areas that are the low points, the points that are going to have shadows and dirt and grudge and all that. This is an exhaust pipe. I probably never even get to use it, but I'm testing out some methods on it. But on this one here has a combination of mostly this, which is a orange mixture, and it does have a metallic, I think it was like metallic red or orange in there, and that actually adds a lot of rust look to it, gives a lot of interest. Here's a grill. Just adds a little bit of that black to it. And then the rear deck trim. So on this one, you can see the panel lines are darker. I didn't do none in the doors except for the speakers. The speakers are not even painted. I just dripped a little wash in there, and it goes towards the deepest areas. Makes it look like I spent a lot of time washing that or painting that, and all I did was drip a little wash on it, let it dry. The lighter color is actually made the same way, except I make it a little bit thicker and use an airbrush, but it is sensitive, so it's kind of like a Tamiya paint. You can see right there it came off, but I kind of like that. I'm making it kind of look a little worn in. I'm giving it some life. Here's a past car that I did. It's got a lot more sandier look. I'd say this was more of a car that might have been in Kentucky where they have the red dirt. If anybody's cringing because I left the GM trademark in there, sorry if your OCD is killing you. I like to leave those in there. I took them out before, and sometimes I just like to keep them in there. I don't know why. And there's another rim with the wash in there. And the grill. It's got the nice wash in there. The interior, you might not be able to get a good look at it. You can kind of get a look there. That dash has a lot of wash to it. And the door panels at the top section has wash in it. Trying to do, give it like a vinyl look a try. So I just went with the darker shade of the color interior that I went with. So since it was a tan, I went with a tan color wash. If I get out of the glare, you can kind of see I did a black wash in them vents. And then in there you can see I did a wash on the valve covers, pretty much everything, just to kind of give it some shadow, some grease look, give it some nice realism. And I still got to finish this one even though it's been on the shelf for 2 months. So I've had so much luck with washes, I figured I'd share my recipe for it. Alright, so what I'm going to need for this is a jar, and I use a milk mixer. Found it at a kitchen supply store. And what it's for is like your fancy coffee drinks where you want frothed milk. So it's got a nice spring on the end to give it a lot of shear. I think these were like $12. So I bought one for the kitchen and one for the model toolbox. I use standard isopropyl alcohol. This one's 70%. The last batches I made was 90%. All it does is dry a little quicker, a higher concentrate. And your color choices. So I'm going to do a black and a gray. You don't really need a lot. One of these bottles would make you a lifetime supply of wash. So not a lot of paint. So just to give you a little idea, it's not a lot. Then this is just alcohol. It's easier to pour from this. Start off less than what you really need. You can't take it out, but you can put more in. So if I was to measure that, I'd say probably 3 parts alcohol to 1 part paint. But you really don't need the mixer. You can almost do it by hand. And if you wanted a rougher wash, I should say, where you have a lot of inconsistencies in the paint, do it like this, and mix it with your paintbrush and apply it as you're mixing it, because you have thinner areas and then you have kind of chunks of paint, as you kind of can see right on that side. You get stuff like that, so you get bigger areas. Alright, let me put this camera in a different spot so you guys can see. Alright, so we're ready to mix. As you can tell, got some on my finger. You can kind of see how thick it is. It looks like oil because of the color in that, but it should be nice and runny. And you can see the pigments actually stay. So. Got an area that Alright. So that's almost like the washes that you'd buy in a store. Works just as good in my opinion. Well, let me move the camera again. Alright, so I got the camera moved. And I'm going to do the fun part of pouring it into this bottle. Now the nice thing about using acrylic is it washes up with water. So if you screw up your model and it's still wet, you can just hit it with a little bit of water. It works fine. But you can see how thick it is in a bottle. I usually use that to tell me if I need to add more alcohol to it or not. So that is about the thickness I go for. Don't have too many chunks. It's good thickness, consistency and everything. So now I got me some dark gray wash that I can use for panel lines or anything. And it's about a perfect in between of my black and light gray. So I'll be back. I'll show you a little bit of how to use it. Alright, I'm going to show you how I do the grills with the black wash. I use a just a standard craft brush. Don't matter. If I gotta get in small areas, I use a smaller brush. But I get in the habit of making sure it's shaken up because it will settle. I just dip it in. And you can watch it actually go in all the areas that need to be in. And you let that dry. If it needs more, and you just give it another coat. So like on these wheels. So this one will be a little darker because there's more in it, of course. But I'd take a Q-tip and just rub it off the top ones. So if you like playing with your models, this probably won't work. But if you just build them, set them up on display, I'll be done with them. Then you won't have a problem with it. But that's how I do my grills. It's simple as that. So then I would end up looking like this one here. See, that one had one coat. So I can actually go and get some more if I want it darker. Just give it another coat. And for like the areas you don't want it on, you just rub it off with your finger. Some areas you might have to coat it on there like this to actually get the darkness you want if it's got thin lines. For exhaust pipes like this, just take that orange. So I want like this area a little bit darker. Just dab a little there in the areas I want. But you can see on that brush that little chunk. If I get that off on here, it'll add a little character to it. This is a darker reddish brown. It's a dark brown mixed with red. Just add a little in there. And it'll actually blend on its own. If you use a tan and you want to get a dirt effect, put it on your brush and take an airbrush and blow it through the bristles. You might want a smaller brush than this when you do that, but if you do that, it will give it a splatter effect. So that's my tip for you guys. All you guys that watch this video, if you got tips that might help us all, please share them. We'll like to see it. It's always nice to learn a new tip, some tricks on there, because being in the model making, that's all it's all about, is learning new stuff and applying it to your next build. I know I wouldn't be building models if it wasn't for everybody out there sharing their ideas and tips. So please keep it up, help everybody out. I appreciate all the help everybody's given me. This is my way of giving back. So everybody have a good one. Talk to you later.